Hi friends, Victor Costa, Peace, Love, and Muscles. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're having an outstanding day. I wanted to talk to you today about nutrition. I think this is going to be a very valuable chat, and I hope that you can glean something from it that can actually help you with not only your bodybuilding and fitness goals, but also your health goals, because that, in my opinion, is really the fundamental aspects of being a bodybuilder. It's having good quality nutrition, rest, and also the language you use when you talk to yourself, saying supportive things, thinking supportive thoughts. Those are the three things, in my opinion, that make us bodybuilders. We're not bodybuilders because we stand on a stage or we pose or make money from it. You're a bodybuilder if you're doing those three things: nourishing the body, sleeping properly, and also being supportive to yourself internally with the language and thoughts that you have when you speak to yourself. But today we're going to focus on nutrition because it is oh so extremely valuable. And I want to share with you personal stories as well that I hope will help you. Maybe you'll identify with them, and this is going to be a very, very real chat. So when I was a young person, I moved from New York City to New Jersey, and we moved to a new school. And prior to moving to New Jersey, I went to a Catholic school where we wore uniforms. So everyone, was basically, decked out in a jacket, a sports coat, a clip-on tie, white shirt. I went to St. Joseph's School, so it said SJS, gray pants, black shoes, black socks. That's it. Everybody was the same. You couldn't really pick anybody out of a lineup, and basically it would hide any, chubbiness or whatever you would have as a child because you were wearing essentially a coat all the time. When I moved to New Jersey, I went to a public school, and essentially you could wear whatever you want. But I showed up for school the first day of school in a suit, if you can believe it, because my parents were old school immigrants, Italian. They thought that you present yourself properly, especially on the first day of school. So of course, I was kind of packed into this tight suit that didn't really fit me. Kids made fun of me, and basically you could see at that age, I had like a belly that would protrude over my pants. And so, of course, I recall this. I mean, vividly. I didn't eat lunch the first day of school. And in fact, I threw my lunch out every day from grade 3 to grade 6. My parents thought I was having a good, nutritious lunch that they were packing for me, and I wasn't. And that went on for 3 years, unbeknownst to them, but really feeling the impact as a young person who's growing, and I would feel that impact dramatically, both emotionally, mentally, and also physically. I was working with, probably 60% of the nutrition that I needed during those developmental years, and my stomach would always hurt, and I never seemed to lose that chubbiness. So when I would sit down in school, the belly would kind of spill over, and I was always conscious of who might be looking at me from the side. And this became a thing, an awareness as a very young person. And of course, I make no qualms about how I started to train, or why I started to train, or why is this embedded in me to some extent. But I do have a background in this and education in this that I hope will translate into helping people with not only their fitness goals, but also their health goals, because that is really the fundamentals of health. It's nutrition, sleep, and the language you use when you talk to yourself, and your thoughts and emotions. If you have those three things covered, you're a bodybuilder. It's not if you're standing on stage or posing or getting paid. That's some of those folks doing that are actually doing the opposite of what bodybuilding essentially is. Bodybuilding are these essential things of taking care of your body. When you're walking on the beach, you're a bodybuilder. When you're sleeping enough, you're a bodybuilder. When you're eating good, diversified, nutrient-rich foods with enough calories to fortify you and the lifestyle you have, you're a bodybuilder. So bodybuilding isn't the hour that you spend at the gym. It is the 23 hours of your life around that 1 hour at the gym. And that's the most important thing. So this is why nutrition is extremely important to me. It's because it is the fundamental building blocks of fitness, wellness, health. Of course, from not having enough food, in my youth, I was essentially I had a lot of issues. My stomach would always hurt. I had trouble concentrating in school, and I think behavioral issues, probably more internally, and the loathing issues and so forth, manifested at this very young age and started at that point. And so it was really because of a lack of nutrition, a lack of awareness of the body, a lack of conversation about what it means to develop and grow, and things like that. And so it was extremely challenging for me. And then I really would even have a hard time eating in public past that age. And so these topics are really, really essential for me. And when I see somebody who right now is trying to convert their body into some kind of a transformation, whether it's weight loss or weight gain with respect to bodybuilding, and they're not properly nourished. In other words, they're not having enough food to keep their metabolism running, to have brick and mortar to develop the body, and they're experiencing stagnation, frustration, and they just don't know what to do. That's where I think my nutrition program comes into play. There's a link in the description portion of this video that you could access that, and there's a coupon for it as well. But I want to get into essentially what I think is happening to a lot of people who are trying to transform their body and gain muscle and build their bodies. A lot of us are not having enough calories and not enough energy to complete our transformation. In fact, a lot of us are not even having enough energy to get through the day. Let me give you a baseline, and if you've heard this before from me, please be patient because I think it's fundamental to our health and wellness. If it takes about 2,000 calories a day to be you and you're eating 1,800, where is that 200 deficit being made up from, right? If it takes 2,000 calories a day to run all your body functions, to complete the tasks that you have, to run your heart and mind and organs and humors and all of that, and you need 2,000, but you're eating 1,800, where is that 200 calorie deficit made up from? I actually believe it's made up from your wellness. There's a well that you have of wellness, and every time that you don't have enough calories to support all the functions and the things that you need to do, you're dipping into that well, right? You're dipping into that well. It's like an account that you keep kind of having a deficit from, and you keep dipping into that, and that's kind of making up for everything and allowing you to get through your day. But you're not functioning optimally if you don't have enough energy. And of course, there's other components to nutrition. We're talking about calories, energy, basics. There's macro components, there's micro components, but let's talk just about that energy deficit. And so that's what I was doing. I was hoping to change my body, to build muscle, to get bigger, and at the same time not having enough fuel or to really do anything with that. And hence I would experience frustration. I would feel like I'm some kind of I don't know, child of a lesser God. You don't know why things aren't working out for you. And sure, even at that deficit, you can change your body. You can reshape it, remold it. Things will happen. It's not like things won't happen, but when you come, you'll hit a wall because you don't have enough energy, right? And one could make a very good argument that if you're already at a deficit and you take on a hobby like bodybuilding or fitness, that it's actually deleterious, because what does the gym really cost you, or what does your workout really cost you? It's not the cost of membership at the gym. It's about 400 or 500 calories. And for some people who are doing weight training and cardio, it's costing 800 calories. And they're not having enough calories to begin with, just to be them, wondering why things aren't converting and contorting and transforming to this idea that they have in their mind of what they really want. And they come to this wall or this frustration, which I actually believe leads a lot of people down the drug and steroid route, when it's so simple to balance this equation, and you don't have to be great at math. You don't have to be great at anything. You have to take stock of what you're actually doing and see if that is indeed congruent with your goals. That's the most important part of this. Am I having enough calories to just be me and to take on the hobbies and to take on the activities that I am doing? And we are essentially what we put in our mouths chronically. When you're looking at me, you're really not looking at that 1 hour of training 4 or 5 times per week, or an hour and 17 minutes I like to do these days. You're really looking at those other 23 hours or 22 hours and 43 minutes, right? That I'm doing. You're looking at the essentially the manifestation of what I have used to build my physical home. And I think that that's something that we forget. We really put ourselves through the ringer. And if somebody else were doing this to us, in other words, making us work so hard with not enough food, we'd be outraged. We'd, have an uprising. But we do it to ourselves all the time. And by the way, you can survive, but that's not living optimally. And everything from the choices you make to the thoughts you have to the way you feel to the way you present to the way you look to the way you perform has everything to do, in my view, with your nutrition. So it's paramount. What you see is what you've been eating essentially chronically over and over and over. And you know what I think? And I've said this before, that from a distance, what you see is the calories and macros. And what you see up close is the micros, right? The awareness, the alertness in your eyes, the texture of your hair, your skin, your nails. Nutrition is very subtle. And if you would have said to me 5 or 10 years ago that the most important things are nutrition, things like stretching, nutrition, if you would have said any words like that, right, I would have said, that's for people who don't have what I have, which is this desire, this will, this intention, and all of that is extremely valuable. But why work against yourself? Food is beautiful. It's it comes in all sorts of tastes, textures, colors, shapes, sizes. It's just an amazing thing to participate in when you have a different view of it. And I believe that all of us really could up our nutrition game. And my personal nutrition game was weak. I can tell you that. And from a distance, you folks might have said, oh, well, that diet he's having is really clean, but it was so lacking in micronutrients. It was so lacking in diversification. It was so lacking in things like omegas and fats and all of those things that are really, really, really valuable. And what you're seeing from me now is really a paying attention to those things. And all of the things that we want basically lie in all of the things that we're not doing, right? So if you're so focused on your fitness game and your bodybuilding game, I can promise you that if you up your nutrition game, meaning having enough calories, having a macro base like carbs, proteins, and fats that makes sense, and you're eating those things sort of regularly so that you can modulate and you don't have to eat too much beyond your basal metabolic rate, the amount of food that you actually need, and you can work with that, right? And then you have, within those macro components, you have these dense micronutrients. So the food that you eat is really, really important that it contains high quality nutrition. An example is a sweet potato versus a piece of bread. Which one do you think has more dense micronutrients? And that's really easy to figure out. But again, this was really a calorie discussion. It's very, very important to have enough fuel to fuel your workouts, to fuel your life, first of all, and then the workouts are kind of added. And like I said, if you don't, you keep dipping into that well. And I dipped into that well so deep that I actually hit dirt. I used to think that I had, like I said, everything inside of this body, right, inside of my heart, to create the physique that I want. And I went pretty far, but at what cost? At what cost? How did I feel along the way? I didn't feel great. And even though I present okay, I wasn't feeling great. These are personal feelings. This is how I feel, how I think, how I feel every day on a day-to-day basis. That has amped up dramatically. I don't know if you can see it, but it's expressing itself physically, and it's expressing itself outward. Think of bodybuilding as nourishing the body from the inside, and what you do on the inside expresses itself outward. We tend to think of slapping on muscle or taking off fat. That's not really how it works. It works, everything's from the inside and pushes its way out. That's what I believe. So focus on getting enough nutrition, meaning enough calories first. Then break your macros down. If you want to know what mine are, it's 50 carbs, 30% protein, 20 fat. Sometimes it's 35 protein, 15 fat. The carbs happen to be low glycemic carbohydrates. And then within that, I have a very dense micronutrients. I have things like spinach. I have things like Brussels sprouts. I have things like asparagus. I have those things. I have egg yolks. I have those things all in one day. So if you would have said to me years ago, hey, how many vegetables do you have? I would have probably not been able to name 3 vegetables. But now I have 3 vegetables in a day, sometimes 4. So I've upped that game, and that has made all the difference for me in how I feel, how I think, how I present, the look in my eyes, how energetic I am, the decisions I make, how well the quality of my sleep is, the workouts, and what you're seeing really essentially is the materials that I've used to build my physical home. And you have to ask yourself, what materials are you using to build your physical home? Because you're the architect. First of all, do you have enough materials to build the house? And then do you have high quality materials to build your physical house? That's a very, very basic way to look at this. I'm delighted to help you guys with this. Through my nutrition program. I think you'll really love it. It will show you how many calories you need to fuel your workouts, whether you want to gain weight, whether you want to lose weight. It will break down the macros, and in fact, it'll create, and also the micros, of course. And it'll also tell you what to eat in the form of menus. You do not have to count anything. You put in your goals, it spits out a menu for you of what to eat in order to reach your goals. The program has values in it from the Institute of Medicine, National Academy of Science, Food and Nutrition Board. It has essentially those values are measured in the program, and you can even eat cheat meals. It even shows you how to incorporate a cheat meal into your meal plan, and at the same time rearrange the macros and micros around it in order to stay on track to reach your goals. In fact, I've got a video at the link below of how you could incorporate actually a cheat meal, if you will, and how to rearrange the rest of the day to still reach your macros and micro goals. So you can do that occasionally. It's got all the menus of the fast food restaurants. It's got Snickers bars, Oreos, you name it, you put it in there, what you want to have, and it will help you rearrange the day. And that's been really, really helpful to a lot of people who want to still reach their goals without suffering, right? Because you do have to enjoy some of the foods you have, and you can still have those foods. I'm a bit anti-cheat days, and if you get the program, you'll see why. I think that's harmful to the body. I don't even like when people are posting these epic cheat days and are trying to pass them off as themselves off as fitness experts, because that is really, in my view, deleterious to the body. It's abusive. It's disorderly eating, meaning it's not eating in an orderly fashion, and it's just trying to see what the body can handle necessarily. I think there's a lot of other ways to go about this. I think there's healthier ways to go about it, and like I said, the nutrition is what you see on a day-to-day basis. It's what you feel. So thank you so very much. I guess you can see now why this is an important topic to me, and hopefully it will help you in some way, shape, or form. So click in the link in the description portion of the video, and hopefully we can work together. Peace, love, and muscles. Take care, guys. Bye-bye.